Welcome to the sleep room, where we journey together into places of peace and rest. Tonight, we'll walk through ancient gardens beneath the soft glow of lanterns, where time moves slowly and the world grows quiet. Before we begin, take a moment to settle into your bed. Feel the weight of your body sinking into the softness beneath you. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Unclench your jaw. Release any tension held in your hands. Breathe in slowly through your nose, filling your lungs with calm. Hold it gently for a moment, then release, letting everything go. Again, breathe in peace. Breathe out the day. One more time, drawing in stillness, releasing all that no longer serves you. Tonight, you need do nothing but listen and drift. There is nowhere else to be, nothing else to accomplish. This time is yours alone, a gift of rest. As you close your eyes, imagine that you are somewhere far away, somewhere ancient and serene. You are in Kyoto, the old imperial capital of Japan, where temples have stood for 1,000 years and gardens grow in whispered patience. It is late evening, just after nightfall. The air is soft and cool against your skin. A gentle rain has passed through the city only moments ago, leaving everything fresh and glistening. The streets are nearly empty now, quiet in that sacred way that only night can bring. You are walking alone through a narrow lane in the temple district. On either side, wooden walls rise up, weathered and dark with age. Traditional machiya houses stand in elegant rows, their latticed windows glowing with the faint amber light of paper lanterns. The stone path beneath your feet is smooth and damp. With each step, you hear the softest whisper of water displaced, a gentle sound that blends with the distant dripping of rain from temple eaves. Above you, the sky has cleared. Clouds drift apart like silk curtains drawn open, revealing a deep indigo canvas scattered with early stars. The moon, almost full, casts its silver light down upon the ancient city, making the wet stones gleam like polished jade. You can smell the rain still lingering in the air. It carries with it the scent of wet wood, of earth and moss, of incense smoke drifting from a nearby shrine. These fragrances blend together into something indefinable, something that speaks of old Japan, of centuries past and present merging into one eternal moment. There is no hurry in your steps. You move slowly, taking in each detail. A bamboo fence, its vertical slats perfectly aligned. A stone lantern standing guard beside a gate, its top heavy with moisture, tiny droplets catching moonlight like diamonds. The city around you breathes quietly. Somewhere in the distance, a temple bell sounds, deep and resonant. The note hangs in the air for a long moment before fading into silence. Then another sound emerges, subtle and calming, the rhythmic tap of a shishi odoshi. A bamboo fountain that fills with water, tips forward with a gentle clack, then rises again to begin anew. You continue walking, following the path as it curves gently between walls and buildings. Overhead, power lines have been buried or removed, here in the preservation district, leaving the sky open and unobstructed. Traditional wooden signs hang beside doorways, their characters painted in graceful calligraphy you cannot read but somehow understand. Tea house, inn, temple gate. A cat crosses your path, moving with fluid grace. It pauses to look at you with luminous eyes, then continues on its nocturnal journey, disappearing into the shadows between buildings. The city belongs to such creatures now, and to wanderers like yourself, seeking something that words cannot name. The air grows cooler as you walk, and you pull your light jacket closer. But it It is not an uncomfortable cold. It is refreshing, awakening, the kind of temperature that makes you feel alive and present in your body. Each breath draws in coolness that spreads through your lungs like clarity itself. You notice small details now. The way moss grows in the cracks between stones, the arrangement of smooth river rocks beside a door, placed with intention, each one chosen for its shape and color. A miniature garden visible through an opening in a wall, just 3 stones, some sand, a single pine tree, and yet it contains an entire world of contemplation. The path begins to slope gently upward. You are climbing now, though barely perceptibly, moving toward higher ground where the oldest temples stand. The houses fall away gradually, replaced by stone walls covered in ivy and the dark silhouettes of pine trees. Another sound reaches you, running water. You're approaching one of the ancient streams that flow down from the mountains, channeled through the city in stone-lined paths. The sound grows louder as you walk, a constant, gentle rushing that seems to wash away all other thoughts. You pause beside the stream for a moment. The water is perfectly clear, reflecting the moon above. Small stones line its bed, smoothed by centuries of flow. You can see them clearly even in the dim light, rounded and patient, surrendered to the endless passing of water. A wooden bridge arches over the stream ahead. You step onto it, feeling the subtle flecks of old wood beneath your feet. Halfway across, you stop and rest your hands on the railing. The wood is cool and slightly damp. You look down at the water flowing beneath you, watch it catch the moonlight and carry it away downstream. An endless procession of silver light. When you breathe here, you can taste moisture in the air. The stream brings with it a freshness, a sense of movement and renewal. You close your eyes and simply listen to the water, to the distant bamboo fountain, to the silence between sounds. Minutes pass, or perhaps only moments. Time feels different here, less urgent, more circular than linear. You open your eyes and continue across the bridge, stepping onto the opposite bank where the path continues upward. Now you see your destination ahead. Through the darkness and the trees, you can make out a gate. It is tall and weathered, made of bamboo bound with black rope. On either side stand stone pillars, and atop each pillar rests a moss-covered lantern, unlit but beautiful in its ancient presence. This is the entrance to the garden you have been seeking, the secret garden of an old temple, opened only at night to those who walk with quiet hearts. Beyond this gate lies a place where the world falls away, where time ceases its relentless march, where peace dwells in every stone and leaf and ripple of water. You approach slowly, reverently. The gate is slightly open, as if waiting for you. Entering the garden, you pause at the threshold, one hand resting lightly on the bamboo gate. It is cool beneath your palm, worn smooth by countless hands over countless years. You can feel the grain of the bamboo, the subtle ridges and valleys that speak of living wood, of plants that once reached towards sunlight. For a moment, you simply stand here, breathing, preparing yourself to enter. There is something sacred about this transition, this crossing from the ordinary world into a place set apart. Your heartbeat slows, your breath deepens. You are ready. With the gentlest pressure, you push the gate open wider. It moves without sound, well tended even in its age. You step through, and the world transforms. Inside, the air itself feels different, thicker somehow, more present. It carries layers of scent that unfold as you breathe: wet stone, green moss, the faint sweetness of night-blooming flowers. There is something else too, harder to name. Perhaps it is simply the scent of age, of a place that has held silence for centuries. The path before you is made of irregular stepping stones, each one placed with deliberate care. They seem to glow faintly in the moonlight, as if they have absorbed illumination and now release it slowly back into the night. Moss grows between them, soft and deep green even in the darkness. You take your first step into the garden, then another. Your footfalls make almost no sound. The stones are dry here, protected by the canopy of trees overhead. Ancient maples spread their branches like open hands, their leaves creating a ceiling of darkness pierced by occasional stars. On either side of the path, bamboo grows in dense groves. The tall stalks stand perfectly vertical, rising into the darkness above. They are silent now, but as a breath of wind moves through the garden, they begin to whisper. It is the most delicate sound imaginable, like silk sliding against silk, like secrets being shared between old friends. The wind carries the scent of the bamboo to you, clean, green, alive. It is a scent that speaks of forest and rain, of strength and flexibility, of bending without breaking. You breathe it in deeply, feeling it settle into your lungs, into your blood, into the very core of you. As you walk further, the bamboo grove falls away to your left, replaced by a carpet of moss. It is luminous in the moonlight, glowing with an almost supernatural green. The moss covers everything: the ground, the bases of trees, ancient stones half buried in earth. It looks impossibly soft, inviting, like a living blanket spread across the garden floor. Small stones are arranged here and there within the moss, carefully placed. Some stand upright like miniature mountains. Others lie flat, like resting animals. Each arrangement tells a story, though you cannot read the language. Still, you feel the meaning, balance, harmony, the beauty of a symmetry. A sound reaches you from somewhere ahead, water but not flowing, something gentler, more intermittent. Drip, pause, drip, pause. It creates a rhythm that your heart begins to follow, slowing to match the patient tempo. The path curves to the right, following the natural contours of the land. You move with it, unhurried. There is no destination here, no place you must reach. The walking itself is the purpose, the seeing, the breathing, the being here in this moment. This is everything. More trees now, their trunks thick and dark, their bark deeply textured. You run your fingers along one as you pass. The bark is rough and cool, ancient beyond imagining. This tree was old when your grandparents' were young. It has stood here through countless seasons, through wars and peace, through the rise and fall of emperors. It remains. Cherry trees grow among the others, their branches spreading wide and graceful. Even now, late in the season, a few blossoms remain, pale pink and white against the darkness. As you watch, a single petal detaches and begins its descent. It falls slowly, catching air, twisting as it drifts. You follow it with your eyes until it comes to rest on the moss below, a small offering to the earth. The scent of cherry blossoms is faint but unmistakable, sweet and delicate, with an undertone of sadness. The Japanese have a word for this: mono no aware, the gentle sadness of transient things. The beauty of the cherry blossom is inseparable from its brevity. It blooms gloriously and falls away, teaching the lesson of impermanence with grace. You continue walking, and now you notice lanterns beginning to appear. They are stone lanterns, old and weathered, standing at intervals along the path. None are lit, but they don't need to be. The moonlight is enough, and the lanterns themselves are beautiful in their darkness, in their patient waiting. Each lantern is unique, carved with different patterns. Some bear the marks of centuries, cracks filled with moss, edges softened by rain, tops crowned with small gardens of lichen. They stand as silent witnesses, marking the path not with light but with presence. The sound of water grows louder now, more complex, not just dripping but flowing too, trickling, the many voices of water speaking at once. You are approaching the heart of the garden, where a pond lies waiting. But first, more bamboo. You enter another grove, denser than the last. Here the stalks grow so close together that the moonlight barely penetrates. The path through is narrow, intimate. The bamboo rises on both sides like walls, and overhead the smaller branches cross and recross, creating a tunnel of gentle darkness. As you walk through, the bamboo whispers again. The wind has found its way into the grove, moving through the stalks, causing them to sway almost imperceptibly. The whisper becomes a song, soft and ancient. It is the sound of the garden breathing, the sound of centuries exhaling. You emerge from the bamboo tunnel into sudden openness. Before you, revealed all at once, is the pond. The pond. The pond spreads before you like a mirror of liquid silver, reflecting the moon so perfectly that for a moment you cannot tell which is real, the celestial body above or its twin below. The surface is still undisturbed, except for the gentle, expanding circles created by the occasional drip from overhanging branches. You stand at the edge, transfixed. The pond is larger than you expected, its far shore lost in shadow and distance. Islands rise from the water here and there, small mounds of earth and stone, each crowned with a single pine tree, shaped by careful hands over decades. The pines are perfect miniatures of their mountain cousins, their branches reaching horizontally in elegant layers. The air here is even cooler, drawn down to the water's surface. You can feel it on your face, on your hands. It carries the scent of water and stone, of aquatic plants, of the deep earth beneath the pond. There is something primal in these scents, something that speaks to an ancient part of your being that remembers when all life came from water. Around the pond's perimeter, large stones have been placed with exquisite care. Some jut into the water, creating promontories. Others rest back from the edge, providing places to sit and contemplate. The stones are of different colors and textures, some dark and smooth, others light and rough, still others marked with veins of quartz that catch the moonlight like contained lightning. You walk slowly along the shore, following a path of flat stones that have been set into the earth. Each step reveals new perspectives on the pond, new angles of reflection, new arrangements of stone and water and sky. A willow tree grows at one point along the shore, its long branches sweeping down to touch the water's surface. The leaves create a curtain, a veil between the path and the pond. You pause beneath it, surrounded by the gentle touch of hanging branches. Through the leaves, the moon appears fragmented, scattered into 1,000 pieces of light. The pond is not silent. As you stand still and listen, sounds emerge. The soft lap of water against stone, the drip you heard before, now revealed as water flowing from a bamboo pipe into the pond, each drop creating its own small universe of ripples. Somewhere, a frog speaks, a single, deep note that resonates across the water. You continue around the pond, and now you see them, the koi. At first, just shadows moving beneath the surface. Then, as your eyes adjust, you begin to distinguish their forms. They glide through the water with effortless grace, large and slow-moving, as if swimming through dreams rather than water. The koi are ancient, you somehow know. Some of them have lived in this pond for decades, growing larger with each passing year. They are white and orange and deep red, patterns of color that shift and flow as they move. When they pass near the surface, the moonlight catches their scales, and they seem to glow from within. One koi rises to the surface directly in front of you. Its mouth breaks the plane of water with barely a sound, creating gentle ripples that spread outward in perfect circles. You watch as the circles expand, intersecting with other circles, creating interference patterns of extraordinary complexity and beauty. The mathematics of water made visible. The koi descends again, and you see it glide away through the clear water, its tail moving in slow, powerful strokes. Another follows, then another. They move in a procession, unhurried, following paths they have followed for years. Beneath the moon, they are like spirits, like the souls of the garden, made manifest in living form. You find a large flat stone near the water's edge and sit down upon it. The stone is cool but not cold, and surprisingly comfortable, as if it has been waiting for you. You settle into position, cross-legged, hands resting gently on your knees. From here, you have a perfect view across the pond. On the far shore, you can make out the dark shapes of more trees, the suggestion of more paths, more secrets waiting to be discovered. But for now, you're content to be here, to sit in stillness and watch the water. The pond's surface is beginning to move ever so slightly, not from wind, but from the gentle circulation of water, from fish moving in the depths, from the endless subtle flow of the spring that feeds it. The reflections shift and dance, breaking into fragments and reforming, the moon endlessly dying and being reborn. You close your eyes and simply listen. The water speaks in many voices. The drip of the bamboo pipe, steady as a heartbeat. The lap of tiny waves against the shore. The movement of koi beneath the surface, water displaced and flowing back. The far-off sound of a small waterfall, hidden somewhere in the darkness, a constant, gentle rushing. Your breath begins to synchronize with these sounds, in and out, like the lap of water, steady and slow, like the drip from the pipe, deep and calm, like the pond itself, which despite its surface movements, holds great depth and stillness below. Minutes pass, many minutes. You sit in perfect peace, part of the garden now, no longer a visitor but a temporary stone, a momentary tree, a breath of wind that will eventually move on, but for now is completely here. When you open your eyes again, the world seems brighter somehow, more vivid. Every detail stands out with crystalline clarity. You see the individual scales on a koi as it passes, the exact pattern of ripples spreading from a falling leaf, the way moonlight breaks into spectrum colors at the edges of water drops. You notice a lotus flower floating near the shore. Its petals are closed now, waiting for dawn. But even closed, it is beautiful, perfect in its symmetry, glowing pale against the dark water. The lotus is sacred here, a symbol of enlightenment, of rising from muddy waters to bloom in the light. At night, it rests, conserving its beauty, dreaming of the sun. More time passes, though you cannot say how much. The moon has moved across the sky, changing the angles of light and shadow. What was illuminated is now dark. What was dark now glows. The pond is never the same twice, even within the same night. You sense more than see other visitors to the pond. A heron, perhaps, standing motionless at the far edge, indistinguishable from a stone until it moves. Small creatures in the undergrowth, rustling the leaves. The world is alive here. Even in the deep hours of night, life continues in quietness, in darkness, in ways we rarely see. A breeze moves across the pond, rippling the surface, shattering the moon's reflection into 1,000 dancing pieces. The pieces swirl and recombine, creating patterns of light that seem to have their own intelligence, their own purpose. You watch, mesmerized, as the water paints with moonlight. The breeze reaches you, cool against your face, carrying new scents. Jasmine from somewhere in the garden, the green smell of algae and water plants, something sweet and unidentifiable, perhaps night-blooming flowers you cannot see. You breathe it all in, storing these scents in memory, knowing you will carry them with you long after this night ends. Your body has grown still, perfectly relaxed. Your muscles have released all tension. You are supported by the stone beneath you, held by the earth, cradled by the garden. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere else to be. This moment, this place, this gentle breathing, it is enough. It is everything. The koi continue their slow circuits. The water continues its patient lapping. The moon continues its ancient journey across the heavens. And you sit, breathing, being, dissolving slowly into the peace that surrounds you. The bridge. Eventually, gently, you rise from your seat on the stone. Your legs have not stiffened despite your long sitting. Instead, you feel limber, relaxed, as if the stillness has restored rather than restrained you. You stand for a moment, swaying slightly, finding your balance again. The path continues along the shore, and you follow it. New sections of the pond reveal themselves with each curve. More islands, more koi gliding beneath the surface, more stones arranged in patterns that speak of centuries of contemplation. Ahead, you see something spanning the water, a bridge. It is low and curved, made of wood that has weathered to a soft grey. The bridge has no railings, trusting those who cross to maintain their balance, to move with care and attention. Moonlight falls upon it, making the wood seem to glow with gentle phosphorescence. You approach the bridge slowly, taking in its construction. It is a work of art in itself, every plank fitted perfectly, every joint invisible. The curve is graceful, rising to its apex in the center before descending to the far shore. To cross it is to trace a rainbow's arc, to move through the sky while walking on earth. At the base of the bridge, you pause. Crossing feels significant somehow, like a threshold between states of being. Behind you lies the shore you know, the path you have walked. Ahead lies unknown territory, the far side of the pond, the deeper heart of the garden. You step onto the bridge. The wood is smooth beneath your feet, worn by countless crossings. It makes no sound as you walk. Your footsteps are silent, absorbed by the ancient wood. You move slowly, mindfully, aware that water flows beneath you, aware that you are suspended between earth and sky. As you climb the gentle slope toward the bridge's center, the view expands. Now you can see more of the pond, its full extent revealed. It is larger than you thought, stretching away into darkness, punctuated by islands and stones. bounded by trees that crowd close to the water's edge. At the apex of the bridge, you stop. This is the highest point, the place where the arc reaches toward the moon. Here, you feel suspended, floating, held between water and air. The pond spreads below you on both sides. Above, the sky is vast and clear, stars emerging in greater numbers as the night deepens. You notice something you hadn't seen before: stone lanterns standing in the water itself, set upon small platforms or balanced on submerged rocks. They rise from the pond like ancient sentinels, their tops level with the surface or just above it. None are lit, but their presence creates a sense of ceremony, of sacred space. The wind rises again, stronger this time. It moves across the pond, creating small waves that catch the moonlight. The sound changes, no longer gentle lapping, but something more pronounced, more rhythmic. It is almost like breathing, the pond inhaling and exhaling, alive in ways that go beyond the fish that swim within it. In the distance, you hear a bell. It is faint, almost at the edge of hearing, but unmistakable. A temple bell, its deep bronze note carrying across the night. It rings once, twice, 3 times, each note separated by long moments of silence. The sound seems to come from everywhere and nowhere, from the earth itself. The bell stirs something in you, a memory perhaps, or a dream of a memory. You feel as if you have stood here before, on this very bridge, listening to this very bell. But that is impossible. You have never been here. And yet the feeling persists. Déjà vu, or something deeper. A recognition that spans lifetimes. You continue across the bridge, descending now toward the far shore. With each step, you feel yourself moving further from the everyday world, the concerns that troubled you before coming here, the worries, the plans, the endless mental chatter, all of it falls away like autumn leaves. You are becoming lighter, emptier, more present. The bridge deposits you on the far shore, on a path that leads into deeper shadow. The trees grow more densely here, their branches forming a canopy overhead. Less moonlight penetrates, but your eyes have adjusted to the darkness. You can see the path clearly enough, winding between massive trunks, disappearing into mysterious depths. Before you enter the trees, you pause and look back at the bridge. From this side, it appears different, more substantial somehow, more real. You can see the way it curves against the sky, the perfect arc of its construction. A dragonfly rests on the apex, wings folded, sleeping or meditating. Even the insects here seem contemplative. You turn away from the pond and begin to walk into the trees. The path narrows, becomes more primitive. Moss grows thick here, muffling all sound. The stones beneath your feet are barely visible, more suggested than seen. You move by feel now, trusting your feet to find the way. The darkness is not frightening. It is welcoming, comforting, like a soft blanket drawn over the world. In this darkness, your other senses heighten. You hear more clearly the rustling of small creatures, the whisper of wind through pine needles, the creak of branches overhead. You smell more acutely the rich scent of earth, the resinous aroma of pine, the subtle perfume of night flowers. Something brushes your arm, a low-hanging branch. You reach out and touch it, feel the rough bark, the living wood. The tree seems to acknowledge your touch, to bend slightly toward you, to share its ancient presence. You stand for a moment with your palm against the trunk, feeling connected to something vast and patient. The path curves sharply, and suddenly you emerge into a small clearing. In the center stands a pavilion. The pavilion. The pavilion appears before you like something from a dream or from a scroll painting come to life. It is small and elegant, with a curved roof of dark tiles that sweep upward at the corners in the traditional style. 4 wooden pillars support the roof, creating an open structure with no walls, inviting you to enter and find shelter within. The pillars are thick and dark, hewn from ancient trees. They rise from stone bases set into the ground, meeting the roof beams with joints that require no nails, only the perfect fitting of wood to wood, an art passed down through centuries. The craftsmanship is exquisite, each element in harmony with every other. You approach slowly, circling the pavilion first, taking it in from all sides. The roof tiles are covered with a fine layer of moss, giving them a greenish tinge that blends with the surrounding forest. At each upturned corner, a small bronze ornament catches the filtered moonlight, perhaps bells or wind chimes, too far above to see clearly. Between the pillars, you can see into the pavilion's interior. The floor is made of wide wooden planks, worn smooth by countless footsteps over countless years. In the center sits a low table, dark and polished. On the table, a tea set, a simple clay pot, 2 small cups, a bamboo whisk, everything waiting as if you're expected. You step up onto the pavilion floor. The wood is cool beneath your feet, solid and reassuring. The roof overhead creates a sense of enclosure without confinement, shelter without separation from the garden. You can still see the trees around you, still hear the distant sounds of water, still smell the night air. But you're also protected, held, given a space to rest. You move to the center and kneel beside the low table. The teapot is still warm. Somehow, impossibly, there is fresh tea here. You don't question it. In this garden, in this night, normal rules seem suspended. Magic lives in the ordinary things, in hot water, in dried leaves, in the simple act of pouring and drinking. You lift the pot. It fits perfectly in your hand, the clay smooth and slightly rough at once, the weight substantial but not heavy. You pour tea into one of the small cups. The liquid is pale green, almost luminous in the dim light. Steam rises in delicate spirals, carrying the scent of sencha tea, grassy and fresh, with hints of the sea. You bring the cup to your lips. The tea is hot but not scalding, the temperature perfect. You take a sip, letting the liquid rest on your tongue before swallowing. The taste is clean and subtle, complex in ways that reveal themselves slowly. First comes the vegetal flavor, then a slight sweetness, finally a pleasant bitterness that lingers. The tea warms you from within, spreading through your chest, down your arms, settling in your belly. It is not just a beverage, but a form of meditation, each sip a moment of presence, of attention, of gratitude for simple things. You pour again and drink again, slower this time, in no hurry. The night stretches before you, infinite and patient. There is nowhere else to be, nothing else to do. This moment, this tea, this pavilion, it is enough. As you sit, you begin to notice details. Characters carved into the pillars, so faint with age they are almost invisible. They might be names of donors who built this pavilion, or sutras, or poems. You cannot read them, but you run your fingers over the grooves, feeling the history contained in these marks. A scroll hangs on one pillar, protected from weather by the overhanging roof. The paper is yellowed but intact, covered in bold calligraphy. Again, you cannot read the characters, but the brushstrokes themselves are beautiful, thick and thin, bold and delicate, expressing meaning through form alone. Perhaps it is a poem about the changing seasons. Perhaps it is about impermanence or the nature of reality. Or perhaps it simply says, "Here is tea, here is peace, be welcome." The wind finds its way into the pavilion, moving through with gentle curiosity. It ruffles your hair, touches your face, stirs the scroll on the pillar. For a moment, the wind makes a sound, humming through the structure, causing the roof tiles to sing very softly. Then it passes, leaving renewed stillness. You finish your tea and set the cup down gently on the table. The clay makes a soft sound against the wood, a small note in the symphony of the night. You remain kneeling, hands resting on your thighs, breathing slowly. Your posture is natural and relaxed, but there is something meditative in the way you sit. You have become part of the pavilion, part of the garden, part of the night itself. The boundaries between you and the world around you have grown thin, permeable. Where do you end and the garden begin? There is no clear line anymore. Time passes, uncounted and unmarked. You might sit for minutes or hours. It makes no difference. The moon continues its journey overhead, visible through the gaps between roof tiles, a constant presence moving through darkness. You become aware of sounds you hadn't noticed before. A nightingale singing somewhere in the trees, its voice pure and mournful. The soft scratching of a beetle crawling across the pavilion floor on some important mission known only to itself. The whisper of your own breath moving in and out, the most intimate sound of all. Stories seem to live in this pavilion. You can feel them in the wood, in the air, in the very stillness. Stories of monks who sat here centuries ago, contemplating the nature of existence. Stories of lovers who met in secret, stealing moments beneath this roof. Stories of solitary wanderers like yourself, seeking respite from the world's noise. All these stories layer upon each other, creating a palimpsest of human experience, and now your own story joins them, becomes part of the pavilion's memory. Long after you leave, something of you will remain here. An echo, a vibration, a subtle change in the air. You feel grateful suddenly, profoundly grateful for this night, this place, this moment of peace. Gratitude fills your chest, overflows, spreads through your entire being. You bow slightly, a gesture of thanks to the garden, to the pavilion, to whatever brought you here. When you raise your head again, you notice the moonlight has shifted. It now falls directly through the pavilion's entrance, creating a beam of silver light that stretches across the floor. Motes of dust or pollen float in the beam, made visible by the light, dancing in slow spirals. You watch the motes, mesmerized. They move with no apparent purpose, rising and falling on invisible currents of air. And yet their movement is beautiful, perfect in its randomness. They are like thoughts in the mind, constantly moving, appearing and disappearing, impossible to hold, but endlessly fascinating to watch. Your eyelids grow heavy. The tea, the stillness, the deep peace of this place, all of it invites rest. But you are not ready to sleep yet. There is more to see, more to experience. With gentle effort, you rise from your kneeling position and stand. Your legs are steady, strong. You move to the edge of the pavilion and look out into the garden. The path continues beyond, winding away into mystery. You can see it faintly, a lighter thread through the darkness, beckoning. But before you leave the pavilion, you pause. You turn and bow once more to the low table, to the tea that warmed you, to the space that sheltered you. Then you step down onto the earth and continue on your way. The dream. The path beyond the pavilion is different from any you have walked before. It is narrower, more overgrown, as if less traveled. Ferns brush against your legs as you pass. Vines hang overhead, creating curtains you must gently part. The garden here feels wilder, more primal, closer to its origins. You move slowly, placing each foot with care. The stones are irregular now, sometimes barely distinguishable from the earth around them. Roots cross the path, thick and gnarled, and you must step over them carefully. But there is no fear of falling. Your balance is perfect, your body attuned to the terrain. The trees grow even closer here, their branches interlacing overhead to form a complete canopy. Very little moonlight penetrates, and you walk in near darkness. But your eyes have fully adjusted now. You can see shapes, shadows, the subtle variations between black and darker black. A fragrance reaches you, sweet and intoxicating. Night blooming jasmine, hidden somewhere in the undergrowth. You cannot see the flowers, but their perfume fills the air thick and heady. You breathe deeply, drawing the scent into your lungs, feeling it spread through your blood like liquid moonlight. The path begins to descend, gently at first, then more steeply. You are going downward, deeper into the garden, deeper into the earth. The air grows cooler still, almost cold, but not uncomfortably so. It is refreshing, awakening, the temperature of deep caves or underground springs. You hear water again, but different from before. This is not the gentle trickling of a stream or the lap of a pond. This is something deeper, more resonant. An underground river, perhaps, flowing through channels carved by millennia, hidden from the sun, eternal in darkness. The path levels out, and you find yourself in a small grotto. Rocks rise on all sides, dark and slick with moisture. They glow faintly with bioluminescent moss, creating a dim green light that allows you to see. It is like being inside a living emerald, surrounded by gentle radiance. In the center of the grotto, a spring bubbles up from the earth. The water is crystal clear, reflecting the green glow of the moss. It rises in a small dome, driven by a pressure from below, then spreads out into a shallow pool before finding its way into cracks in the rock and disappearing again into the underworld. For now, there is only this, and you, resting in the heart of it all, breathing softly, dreaming gently, sleeping deeply, completely at peace. Good night.